Sean. Welcome back to the channel. As you could probably tell, I just got off of work, and I want to talk about what's happening in California and a lot of the major cities. As far as I know, there's been a couple of HSI operations, actually a lot of HSI operations, or a significant amount of them all over the place. And there's a lot of communities and a lot of people that don't want Homeland Security to do their job. Basically, what they're doing is they're detaining people that are undocumented. And I'm not going to get into a whole political rant about the situation. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I just don't want to alienate the subscribers on this channel. I do want to acknowledge those of you who are out there in law enforcement, in Homeland Security, those of you who are in private security, corrections, and I really want to thank you for all the work that you do. It doesn't matter what they want politically, on political terms. What matters right now at this point in time is that you do your job effectively and you're not leaving any give me a second. And you're not allowing other people's feelings to weigh in on any bearing on your work, on your final work product. So once again, I appreciate you guys. So as we can see in the news in Los Angeles, I don't know what part it is, maybe downtown, I don't know, but there is some aggressive situations and the life-threatening situations of guys. For those who threaten to throw a rock, or who actually launch a brick at a moving vehicle, there's a specific California Vehicle Code section for that. Okay, and I think it's called launching a missile or something like that. California recognizes a rock, a bottle, whenever it's thrown at a moving vehicle, they recognize it as a missile. The Vehicle Code actually uses the word missile. Some of the impacts I've seen, it's right through the driver's side window, like right in the front windshield. Guys, that's attempted murder. That's attempted murder on a law enforcement officer. And this is pretty significant. Why is it significant? Because what some of these people don't understand is that the law enforcement officer who's being attacked can use deadly force. And all you're armed with is a rock or a brick or a small little boulder. Remember, once that boulder is launched, it's launched. You're gonna have to pick up another one for a successful attack, but that's all you have. And these law enforcement officers have semi-automatic rifles and pistols and a bunch of other things. It doesn't make any sense, and it's not peaceful protesting. That is riot-like behavior. Now, what does this have to do with you as private security officers? Well, I think that the business community around these areas are trying to hire security staff to safeguard their business. It's unfortunate for them, but for you guys, it offers workplace opportunities. Now, I hope wherever you go, they're paying you how much they should be paying you, considering that you are putting your life on the line. If you ask me, I absolutely will not sign up for any type of security assignment where I'm by myself or with a partner and I have to protect property. Now, for me, I have wildfires in my eyes all the time. And what I mean by that is I am incident driven. I like the action. That magnetizes me. It motivates me. that's why I sign up for the things that I do. I mean, this is a small fraction of why I signed up for this type of work, but it is, to me, it is kind of exciting, right? And to a lot of you guys who are twisted, these types of behaviors do draw attention to you, that you get an adrenaline rush, which I can't even explain. But if you send me in a team environment to protect property, and you're sending me quality people, then for sure, for sure, absolutely would work one of these assignments. But keep in mind that when you guys deploy, you might just be by yourself or with a partner protecting property. And the question is it really worth it? And if they pay you $50 an hour, is it worth it? I can't tell you. $100, is it worth it? Okay, how about $38 or $40? Is it worth it? And somebody in the comments might say, well, it's not worth your life. Is $30 worth your life? No. Well, is $100 worth your life? I don't know. I mean, it's your choice. Is $200 an hour worth your life? Well, nothing's worth my life, but hey, $200 an hour, if you give me a team, I'll do it. I don't know of anybody that wouldn't want to do that type of work. Guys, let's start planning, all right? If you're assigning one of these properties, you're going to need to have a plan on how you arrive to your post safely. Do you have body armor, right? Do you have all your equipment, and where's that equipment? If it's at your post, well, what if you get stopped by some of these people on your way to the post? Like, you're not gonna have anything to adequately defend yourself. It's just something to keep in mind, right? Now, do you have an egress plan? And at what point in time are you going to leave the area? What would cause you to leave your post? And that's a huge thing in security is, don't abandon your post. But if you have to, at what cost? Or what are the circumstances? What are the events that would cause you to leave your post? For me, it's first, I'm not going to sign off unless you give me a team that I trust. And then with that team, it's kind of like, well, when would you leave? Now, I would argue that no property is worth safeguarding, but let's just say you got to safeguard lives. There's actually people that are holed up in an area that you got to protect, or a building. For me, if I signed up for that job, they're the priority. I mean, on the priority list scale, the clients are my priority, and I'm going to make sure that they leave safely, even if we have to stay behind. But again, you got to give me a team that I trust with my life, and I hope that you guys feel the same way. I highly recommend that you invest in a gas mask. If you have a gas mask, let us know in the comment section box below what kind. I'm rolling with an Avon, oh my goodness, I think, is it a 53M? Jeez, I can't remember the exact model. But it's a model that the military uses. I think it's the C or the M53, which is kind of like a C53. But again, I don't remember this exact model. The kit is worth about $1,500. Do you have to spend $1,500 for an effective gas mask? I would say no. I think you can get one. I think it's Mira Safety, MIRA Safety, for somewhere around $300. Now, you might be asking me, Sean, how do you know there's effective? Well, I'm on the chemical agent cadre at one of our local police academies, and that is the mask of choice that the academy uses. I mean, you're talking about 15 students at a time that use that same mask, and when they follow directions, it is effective. Now, guys, when you buy a mask, when in doubt, get a medium. 85% of the U.S. population get a size medium. Okay, Don't be the one to get the extra large mask because it may not fit you well. Even, I think it was a large mask that I went with training. There was a huge gap in my forehead of like this. And one of the guys said, hey, there's a hole, there's a huge hole in your mask. You're going to be screwed, man. Gas time. And when I did the gas, when I did the pre-deployment check, right? You're gonna exhale, and then you're gonna inhale, and then you're gonna put the negative pressure on the filter, and then it'll suck in. If that happens, then you're good to go. Well, that's what happened, right? But for some reason, I just felt a little bit antsy about that gap. And remember, my instructors checked me. They're like, "Oh, you're good, you're good." Well, I wasn't good. All the gas went through inside of the gas house, which is a topic of another story. When going through some of the environments, you're gonna have to wear that mask inside of your vehicle. And what I want you to do is turn off the air conditioning portion or the heater portion of your car that takes in air from the outside. I don't know what button it is, but everybody I think has that button on their vehicle. Turn that button off. That way you're not getting the gas inside. But still, you will be exposed if you run through gas in your vehicle. There's small pockets through the doors that will seep through. For that reason, wear a gas mask. And if you wear glasses, if you're blind like me, you probably want to buy an insert, like a prescription glass insert. They are very pricey, but I think it's worth it. Or you can just do what I've done in the past is I just taped my prescription glasses to the front lens. I've done that before. Other occasions, I seated in both of the legs of my glasses in these small little pockets that I found in the mask, and that kind of helped. Do not make the mistake that I did once and put the mask. So I put my $600 prescription glasses on. One of the guys that's a chemical agent instructor had me fit the mask, right? So I made my mask tight. I fit it in there, exerted the negative pressure. Anyhow, in the whole process, because of the pressure, it snapped the legs of my not the legs, but yeah, one of the legs of my prescription glasses. And those are like $600. It just snapped it. And then there are still pockets that gas was able to seep through. I mean, I just don't think it was worthwhile for me to do that. Again, just tape it to the outside if you have to, if you wear prescription glasses. But get that gas mask, have it ready, and have it deployable in a condition that you can use. And make sure that you use it correctly, guys. Maybe I can even do a video on how to properly put on your gas mask. Unfortunately, at the academy, I was teaching students, and in particular their females, I was teaching them to move their hair outside of the mask, put their hair in a bun, but there was like 5 of them that didn't want to listen to me. And come gas house time, guess who was in near panic? Guess who felt miserable? It was those 5 females that didn't want to listen to me. Give me a second. If you're called in as like a special strike team or a security team, as part of security contract, you are not deployable in riot-like situations because you don't have a gas mask. You can have a shield, all the padding you want, but if you don't have a gas mask, you're not deployable. And I'm not saying deplorable, I'm saying deployable. All right, so that's just something else to consider. We got to monitor the situation, guys. If you're in Las Vegas, you're in Chicago, you're in Boston, Massachusetts, you're in Anchorage, let us know if there's any types of protest situations. But we're really concerned about riot-like behavior. When people throw rocks at you, they throw bricks. That's not a protest anymore. It's a riot. Okay, it's a riot. And what I want you guys to do is remove any police memorabilia, security memorabilia, any patriot-like memorabilia on your vehicle. Okay, get rid of the American flags. Your blue line Punisher skulls, all that stuff, because when you go through a blockade, okay, the police are not going to save you. Just you and those people, and they're going to pick up on these signs, right? Maybe you want to bring a disguise. Find out whatever it is that they're protesting. Maybe buy a shirt, right? But try to blend in as much as you can. But it's a thing, guys. You might have to go through some checkpoints that are not manned by security, that are manned by the rioters. Okay, be careful. Never forget the story that David from the, oh my goodness, what the hell's David's channel? Oh, Security Guard Command channel. He made a video where he went to a street takeover, and they saw that he had a security uniform, but they didn't realize like it was a security uniform, and they were about to pull him out of the car. And then I think somehow he kept explaining it's a security uniform. I'm just a security guard. And they saw it, and then it said security, and they let him pass. But he was in fear for his life at that point in time, guys. Hide your uniforms. Those of you who really go out of your way to look like police officers, now's not the time. Impersonate a peace officer when the time is best for you. I know that kind of sounds counterintuitive on what we preach on this channel, but if you got these fake patches and you look like a cop, it's not going to help you going through these street takeovers. When you get confronted, it's not going to help. Let me just go through the comments real quick. Let's see who's here. And guys, report the circumstances, report the events, the situations that are going on in your city, because I only know what's going on in Imperial County, California, and it's nice and peaceful over here. But I don't know what's going on where you guys are at. Jack Spade is here. Welcome, sir. Yeah, Doug, we know that they're downtown LA. We have our friends that are over there. We pray for a safe arrival back home when all this mess is over. And we've been getting some intel, some we've been looking at some photos, some videos from those who are working. They're over there right now, and it's an awful situation. Anton's here. He said he's been in LA recently. He said it's pretty good. Decided to quit my small town PD and join LAPD there. Nice. Okay. LAPD has their hands full. Yeah. So California, there's a battle right now between Newsom and Trump, and I think Trump wants to deploy the National Guard. That's how crazy it's getting right now. Anton says we all have common sense. Leos will not use firearm during that protest because they know consequences. I don't know what you're trying to say. We all have common sense. Not everybody has common sense. And Leos will use a firearm if they believe that their life is in danger. Mr. Fusion's here. Jack Spade says, hell, if a cop does his job, they still get punished often. It's BS, damn if you do, damn if you don't. Politics. Jack Spade says, ask yourself if these companies will back you and give you proper tools to do the job. Sadly, most often, none will. And then he says, Mira also has good gas mask. I don't know if they're good, but I think that yeah, I seen them fail, right? I seen good ones fail. I don't know if I can agree to that. I will say that for 2 years, I see them deployed in a training environment by academy students at 15 at a time, and then another 15, um, and they're working as long when they follow our directions, they work. But when you don't, then they don't. But yeah, they got some cheap ones, and then I think we bought the ones that are about $300, and they work for what we do. It's I think it's worthwhile to buy. Um, the security guard channel is here. Hey, what's up, Damien? This is good afternoon, good evening, peeps. Hope everything is well. Good topic. Thank you so much, sir, for chiming in. Um, Professional security journal says Mira is questionable. Just like saying anything else, stick to what they use. I don't know. I mean, I've seen them work. I see them work. Now, I have the highest quality mask, which is from Avon. I mean, the military deploys with that, and I'm comfortable. But I understand that not a lot of security officers are able to buy a $1,500 setup. King Petty 01, how much money do former SOF firearms instructors make? I think most of the time, the SOF guys, they end up starting their own firearms training company, and it's whatever that they want to charge. In the small group I'm in, I mean, one of our guys is former SOF, and I can't tell you how much he makes. I mean, some of the classes for a 40-hour class, it's like $1,000 a class. And then usually there's 10 students, so that's up like $10,000. But that has to be divided with the company that person works for, and then the assistant instructors. I mean, it just depends on what you want to charge. Professor Security Journal says that's a question for Randy, not Sean. Oh, thanks, thanks, Mike. Yeah, no, you're right. Jax thinks that you should wear blue hair, get a nose ring, and wear skinny jeans to fit in. Hey, you know what? That's not a bad idea. Like, just get a blue wig. That's not bad. Mike from the Professional Security Journal says, I put nothing on my vehicle. That's on purpose for a reason. Good man. Damien from the Security Guard channel says, I have no entire video. I have an entire video series on surviving street riots. It's getting crazy out here. Yeah, I would imagine in Portland, Oregon, it's getting out of control. And, our small connection of friends that we have over in California, they've deployed to those areas, and they even tell us how crazy it is over there. But no, definitely, please be safe out there. We want you to keep providing important information on your channel, some good intel, but please do us all a favor and please be as safe as possible out there in your area. We are concerned. And that goes for anybody else that's also in Portland. I never, Mike says don't telegraph that you're armed. Yeah, that might not be a good thing. Giannis from Giannis Protective Services here. Welcome Angel, and Jack Spade Production says try the Michael Winslow approach from Police Academy. If they surround your car, make machine gun noises. Right. All right, guys. All I can tell you is if you own a security company, Maybe you can offer some type of mobile response protection, but you need to be properly trained, and probably have the right weapon systems. We've talked about less lethal launchers many times in this channel. Which ones are legal, which ones cannot use. But it's a thing. I mean, you're gonna need that. You're gonna need to have less lethal launchers, most likely. Having gas for private security is very limited, because the method of so the way that the gases are expelled, or that they're initiated with the law enforcement grade chem agent munitions, it's through a small explosive charge. That's why you hear that kaboom sound, right? That's combustion. It will break down the container or the walls or the cylinder that is containing all of this gas, which is technically like dried up powder. But that's what law enforcement uses. The devices are expelled through a small explosive charge, right? So it's technically an explosive, but it's just so much more effective than the civilian grade models. So the civilian grade models, the gas is expelled, or the process begins with like a CO2 container, right? I'm sorry, a CO2 charge, so to speak. And that doesn't do the best job dispersing the substance. Like, it doesn't do as great of a job as a pyrotechnic charge, right? But it's something that we could train with out there. There's a company called IWS or something like that. I think they're based out of Florida, and they do offer, I think maybe Pava powder, maybe CS, I don't know. But that's our limit, and it's expensive, guys. It's like $70 just for a can, and the amount of chem agents that disperse, it's not even close, in my opinion, to what law enforcement offers. But hey, that's all that they have, right? That's all that we're able to access. It's just something that you might want to think about getting. And if you own a security company, you're in charge of the team, you probably want to train on that. Most likely, we'll be offering a chem agent instructor class, more or less, maybe in the fall, maybe around Christmas time, and we'll open it up to, maybe we'll make it open enrollment, and I think it's something. It's definitely a credential that you want to have, and that will give you some hands-on experience on how to deploy gas in these non-permissible environments. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got. Sorry for the short notice on this video, and I'm looking forward to you guys expanding this topic and letting us know like what's happening in your area right now.